Hey, I'm Guy Branum, the host of the Factuary on thrashlab.com, and I thought I would do a quick little video to explain the healthcare decision that came down today. So, the big question was, does Congress have the power to mandate that people have to get healthcare? Congress only has a very limited number of powers, only like 8 of them. Sort of like Superman. Like Superman has heat vision, and he can fly, and he has super strength, and some of his powers come up a lot, and some of his powers almost never come up. So for the past 100 years, Congress has pretty much only used one of its powers to legitimate most of its legislation, and that's the Commerce Clause, which says that Congress can regulate interstate commerce. Now, from the Great Depression until the 1990s, the Supreme Court pretty much said, yeah, sure, fine, for regulations about everything. If you grew wheat just in your backyard, that was still part of interstate commerce. That was something that Congress could regulate. But in 1990, the Supreme Court said that there is a boundary of how much Congress can do with the Commerce Clause. It's basically like the way Superman comic books always solve every problem with him using super strength. He picks something up and he throws it, or he picks something up and he moves it, and hey, that solves a problem, but that gets kind of boring. So eventually someone came along and wrote a Superman comic where they said, he wasn't strong enough to pick that up. That was the Commerce Clause decision in the 1990s. It's called Lopez. So with the healthcare mandate, the question was, is Superman strong enough to force everyone in the United States to get health insurance? And what the Supreme Court said was no. The Commerce Clause is not powerful enough to mandate that every person in the United States get health insurance, that people getting health insurance is not something in the flow of commerce, which is kind of debatable. What they said is that it's a different power that enables the Obama administration and Congress to force people to get health insurance. That's my phone. It is Congress's ice breath. Essentially, it is Congress's power to tax. They are saying that Obama's law is not a mandate that everyone get health insurance. It is just saying if you don't get health insurance, you're going to have to pay this penalty to pay for other people, to pay for a world where not everybody has health insurance. And so Obama, the Democrats have been trying to make this not look like a tax. The Republicans keep saying it's a tax. And the only reason it's constitutional is because it's a tax. The other really interesting thing to come out of this decision is who was part of the 5-person majority that ended up saying that Obamacare was constitutional. People were very much expecting that Anthony Kennedy, a Reagan nominee, he's been a little bit liberal. Like, he's one of the people who held up a woman's right to choose in the late 1980s. It was like 3 moderate Republicans who kept that alive. He was the deciding vote on whether sodomy laws, which made it illegal to be gay in some states, were overturned. He was the guy who said, hey, no, we need to stop being mean to gay people. He was not involved in this. No, no, no. It was President Bush's nominee for Chief Justice, John Roberts, who was the deciding vote, which means it could be laying the groundwork for a very different future court where this guy we expected was going to be a conservative is actually like a pragmatist moderate. But that's not really the answer. The answer is politics. The Supreme Court is never going to do anything boldly, crazily political. The Supreme Court, is always going to defer to the fact that we're a democracy and we elect people to make decisions for us. And in 2008, we elected a dude who was basically just saying, I'm going to pass healthcare legislation. And then he went through his first term, and pretty much the only legislation that he pushed was healthcare legislation. With that kind of political capital behind it, there's no way that the Supreme Court, 9 unelected people who went to a total of 3 colleges, are going to say, stop. So that is my explanation of healthcare. Please comment away talking about how fat and gay I am. Yours, Guy Branum.